In the opening scene, we learn that a havoc has spread across the globe, and the scientists term it as a solar crisis. As the sun becomes an expanding red giant, it threatens to engulf the Earth within 100 years. To avert this catastrophe, the United Nations, now known as the United Earth Government, or the UEG, introduces the Moving Mountain Project. The primary goal of this project is to build 10,000 massive nuclear fusion engines that can propel the Earth out of the solar system towards another habitable star system. Despite the project's noble intent, it is completely idiotic, and its high operational costs and excessive resource consumption cause riots and protests from people who don't care about tragedy that isn't happening yet. The protests get even more intense when the UEG shuts down and bans the Digital Life Project, or the DLP, one that proposes continuing human civilization through digital immortality by developing mind-uploading technologies. In retaliation, the well-armed DLP constantly hacks and throws terrorist attacks at the UEG. At one point, the UEG notices the people are losing faith in their project and considers stopping it. However, a Chinese ambassador named Zhou Zheji convinces everyone to carry on. As the first part of the Moving Mountain Project, the Lunar Exile Program is initiated that focuses on pushing the moon away from the Earth. For this, it utilizes 3 fusion engines in order to minimize the moon's gravitational pull. Many people are being trained as astronauts for this task. One of them is Liu Piqiang, who arrives at the space elevator base surrounded by the protesters. The armed guards are on duty to prevent these protesters from entering the area. However, one of them somehow manages to break in, but he is soon subdued by a trainee astronaut named Han Duo. Liu is instantly captivated by her and already imagines a future with her. Surely the chances of this are decent, in a world where pushing the moon with rockets helps fix a problem with the sun. Following this, the new trainees are escorted to the space elevator for their first test. This elevator is the highest structure in human history that provides a glimpse of space to the trainees. As they get on board, it goes up so fast that many of them faint on the way. As the days pass by, they are trained in various subject matters, such as hand-to-hand combat, firearm usage, and frequent elevator trips until they don't pass out anymore. They're also put through medical tests and exercises to make sure they're in peak physical condition. During their training, Liu and Han develop a close bond and enjoy one another's company. One day, he bribes the guards with some packs of cigarettes to allow him to bring a flower bouquet inside the base. They happily accept the cancer from the simp. He then gives it to Han, but it leads to an awkward moment as they're watched by everyone. On the same day, a new set of trainees arrives at the base and joins the previous group at the space elevator. Unexpectedly, all the drones begin to fly on their own, and the engineers discover that their system has been hacked. Soon after, the drones open fire at the base, forcing the guards to fire back at their own tech in defense. The UEG deploys several fighter planes to take down the hacked drones, but airplanes won't aim at them because they're detected as allies. In the meantime, the trainees, including Liu and Han, are trapped in one of the space elevators that goes up ahead of schedule. Here, it's revealed that the new trainees are none other than highly trained infiltrators who soon start stealing the IDs of the former trainees. Shortly after, Liu uses his glasses to make the sun burn the lock screen, causing the door to open. He then starts fighting the infiltrators one after another. A while later, Han hands him a mechanical arm, with the help of which he knocks out all of the intruders. Back at the base, the scientists bring the 550C, the latest intelligent quantum computer that finally counteracts the hacking. However, it's too late because the hijackers have successfully managed to attach a missile to one elevator, thanks to counterfeit passes. As a result, the top of the space elevator and the Ark space station are critically damaged and crash down to Earth. This results in irreparable damage to the base and many of the trainees. In this process, Liu jumps on top of Han and shields her from any harm, but not from the protrusion in his pantaloons. In the aftermath of this event, the base is evacuated, while the news reports confirm the loss of over 3,000 lives. Riots intensify in the following weeks because of all the death and resource depletion. Public demand increases for the reinstatement of the DLP. Due to this attack, many countries working on the pilot program pull out, leaving China alone to take on finishing construction of the Lunar and Beyond Earth engine. Zhou instructs his assistant to deliver the speech he's prepared, urging faith in the project, while he engages in discussions with the American ambassador to convince him to give them a chance. The scene then cuts to the moon, where the Lunar Exile pilot program is in progress. There, a computer engineer named Tu Hengyu wakes up from his hibernation pod and proceeds to inspect the systems. He also sets up his quantum computer called AI-550A, coincidentally also the name of Elon Musk's 36th son, that enables him to watch a video of his late daughter Yaya, recorded 5 years ago. Hengyu, formerly associated with the DLP, had managed to record and store his daughter's consciousness on a hard drive, with his mentor and project lead Ma Zhao bearing the responsibility. Hengyu now aspires to transform Yaya's brief video clip into a complete AI form. For this, he opts using the newer 550C, but is outright rejected by Zhao. Afterwards, the two do the first testing of 550C by activating each sector of the base. While they wait for the computer to do its thing, Zhao gives Hengyu the digital copy of his mind, which the company confiscated when they banned the DLP. Zhao explains that it's up to him if he wants to destroy it or not. Sometime later, the system detects an incoming solar storm, forcing all the workers to rush back to the base. They drive their vehicles as fast as they can and manage to enter the base moments before the storm hits. But, unfortunately, the AI-550C gets damaged in this process. Since they need a quantum computer to launch the project, Hengyu offers to use his 550A. In return, he asks Zhao to involve him in all the future developments of the 550 series, hoping that he'll have a chance to give Yaya a complete life. As soon as Zhao accepts, Hengyu transfers his daughter's consciousness recording to a disk before handing over his AI computer. 3 days later, the team tests the engines, and after moments of tension, they're delighted to witness a slight angular displacement of the moon. This proves that in 20 years they'll be able to push the moon away completely. The success restores people's faith in the project. Several months later, they again conduct another test of the engines, this time on Earth. At first, all the screens go black and people think it's failed, but suddenly the ground shakes and a bright beam emanates from the astronaut base. Not long after, the UEG scientists confirm Earth's angular displacement, bringing immense joy to the populace. After successful trials of both the lunar engine, the UEG grants full go-ahead to the Moving Mountain project. As the mission progresses, it officially gets renamed as the Wandering Earth. Over the next 14 years, more than 7,000 engines are constructed, including torque engines that slow down the Earth's rotation, making it 60 hours per day. Furthermore, the subterranean cities are built under every engine in order to provide shelter for ordinary citizens for the anticipated 2,500-year interstellar journey. However, there is also talk about a sortition plan in which only 50% of the world's population can gain a spot in the underground cities, and the requirements to get a pass are quite discriminatory. As time goes on, the solar crisis becomes more and more imminent, evidenced by spikes in solar radiation. All kinds of weather disasters soon hit the planet like floods. Moreover, the people also suffer from increased cancer cases due to solar radiation. On the other hand, Liu has married Han, and they now have a son named Qi. Like other people, they are also worried about getting the passes for the underground cities. To make matters worse, Han has been diagnosed with cancer. In the meantime, Hengyu never stops working on Yaya's AI form, while also helping with the development of the newest and most advanced 550 series iteration called 550W, otherwise known as the common light bulb. One day, Liu, who has now secured the rank of Major, is summoned for an interview to determine his eligibility for a pass. The interview is conducted by an offline, AI-equipped 550W, who acknowledges Liu's impressive skills, but suggests he stay on Earth to care for his family. Despite this, Liu makes a tough decision to accept the pass, because it's the only way to take his son to the subterranean cities through preferential policy. The scientists in charge of the project are watching the interview from the other room, and Liu's affection towards his son reminds Hengyu of his daughter. The AI also suggests that it's better not to fight for the pass for Liu's wife, predicting her passing in 83 days. Unfortunately, this infuriates Liu, and he ends up yelling at the scientists, resulting in him failing the test outright. Later on, he spends time with Han, who is now hospitalized. As they converse, surface. Han expresses her wish to see her hometown one last time. Hearing this, Liu arranges for a jet plane from a fellow comrade and takes her to her hometown. After a while of joyful flight, they land in Shanghai, which is now turned into a frozen wasteland. That night, while gazing at the stars, Han says that when the time comes, she wants to die with dignity and not with a bunch of wires and pipes connected to her. Meanwhile, at the base, Hengyu, having been influenced by Liu Pikang's outburst, decides to upload Yaya's recorded consciousness into the 550W supercomputer. As a result, Yaya finally starts conversing with him.
Daddy, I can see your incognito search history.
Breaking him down into tears. However, right after the upload, the lunar engines experience an overload, resulting in an explosion that propels the moon on a collision course with Earth. The guards then use tasers to subdue Hengyu and arrest him for his unlawful acts. Zhu is near the ocean when it happens. As a consequence of the explosion, a tsunami grows in size and hits the land. Recognizing the impending danger, he issues an emergency alert to leaders all over the globe. Liu also gets notified of this emergency and is summoned back to duty. Meanwhile, the UEG uses their 550W supercomputers to avert the danger, but to no avail. As a result, they resort to opening the underground cities to let people in. Before Liu leaves for the mission, Han succumbs to her illness, and their son is taken to the underground city by his grandfather. Afterwards, Zhou talks at the UEG, asking for their support for his emergency plan. He wants to detonate all of the Earth's nuclear weapons on the moon to induce nuclear fusion within its core, leading to implosion. No government has ever revealed how many nuclear weapons they have in their arsenal because it's confidential, and nobody likes revealing the size of their nuclear pee-pee. But for the first time in history, it doesn't matter. Convinced by this plan, everyone agrees to hand in what they have in order to save the world. Elsewhere, Zhao visits the imprisoned Hengyu to tell him that they'll be activating Earth's engines soon, so they need to reactivate the global internet to allow coordinated detonation control. One of the servers is now submerged underwater, and Zhao wants Hengyu to handle it. When the latter tries to refuse, Zhao blackmails him with using the disk with Yaya's digital consciousness, as if he hasn't uploaded a backup by this point. Due to the lunar debris forming an asteroid belt around the moon, the best pilots are chosen to transport the nuclear weapons, including Liu. Simultaneously, 3 teams are dispatched to recover the missing internet servers, located in Beijing, Tokyo, and Dulles. Not long after, the chosen pilots leave for the moon, trying their best to dodge the incoming asteroids along their way. Despite their best efforts, some shuttles get hit, causing them to crash. This leads the team to lose 200 warheads, only leaving 180 for detonation. Shortly after, Liu's shuttle also hits an asteroid and crashes on the moon's surface. The survivors immediately search for tape to fix their helmets, to keep up oxygen and bandage any wounds. Following this, they decide to deliver the remaining warheads on foot. Liu, prioritizing his teammates' safety, uses an abandoned lander to send them back to the base, while he stays behind to set up the warheads. Back on Earth, the 3 teams reach the server locations and dive underwater. Using drones and specialized tools, Hengyu's team in Beijing gains access to the server room. There, they immediately start working on the necessary steps to restore the internet. Around this time, lunar debris starts striking Earth, with one directly hitting Beijing's data center, flooding the insides. The shock results in a tangle of thick wires falling on Zhao's leg, trapping him there. He immediately summons Hengyu for help, but a jammed door prevents the latter from entering. At last, Zhao makes a brave move. He passes a password key to Hengyu and instructs him to leave. The debris wreaks havoc, destroying cities worldwide, leading to panic as people rush towards the underground cities. At the UEG, Zhou learns that they can't detonate all the warheads at the same time due to diverse models, some even requiring 712 hours. As a result of this, Zhou is about to lose hope when one of his men comes up with a solution, dispatching more astronauts to the moon to trigger the warheads manually. However, it's a one-way ticket, because they would have to sacrifice their lives for the same. Following this, Zhou assembles all of his astronauts and reveals this as the only option. Despite the known life risk, all brave astronauts volunteer to go. At the same time, an older astronaut points out it's their duty to do this and leave the younger ones to take care of the future. With this decision, 300 astronauts over the age of 50 board the shuttles and make their way to the moon. On the moon, Liu completes the warhead setup, but is surprised to see additional arriving astronauts. Sadly, he can't communicate with them due to his damaged communicator. Being a younger astronaut, he is sent back to the Earth via a spacecraft. The UEG confirms that Tokyo and Dulles servers are back online, but not Beijing. Turns out that Hangyu is struggling with connecting the key to the computer as water fills his room as well. Realizing that he doesn't have long before drowning, he uploads a copy of his own recorded consciousness into the network. Simultaneously, the astronauts on the moon detonate all the warheads, finally imploding the moon and averting collision. However, more debris comes towards Earth, necessitating swift action by the scientists to propel the planet. Meanwhile, the water covers the entire room, causing Hangyu to drown to death. With the realization that their mission has failed, the UEG issues a final goodbye message, instigating widespread panic. However, we learn that the mission isn't over yet, because Hangyu's digital mind activates inside the computer. It reunites with his daughter, and together they proceed to work on activating the server. They manage to activate it in the nick of time, moving the Earth away from the course of the lunar debris. Everyone breathes a sigh of relief and celebrates their success while the tides calm down. The scene then advances 7 years into the future, depicting that Earth has restored its 24-hour system. Zhou has retired, with his assistant assuming leadership at the UEG. Now, the Wandering Earth project has officially set sail in their next journey, aiming for Jupiter. The plan entails using one final boost from Jupiter to propel Earth permanently out of the solar system for good. A space station is established to review and control the engines, with Liu taking charge. In a mid-credits scene, Hangyu's digital self is addressed by AI-550W, who now goes by the personified name Moss. The now sentient supercomputer discloses its role in destroying the lunar engines and orchestrating numerous hack attacks in the past. Moss also contends that the best way to preserve human civilization is by destroying mankind.